Greetings, this is Ty Brown, and welcome to the Pepperdynamics podcast, the unofficial podcast of the Pepperdine Graziadio Business School. I'm joined with the co-host, Kia June here. Kia, greetings. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, everyone.
And I have a couple other second years here. We are joined by Francis Rodriguez. Francis is a second year, I guess you're MBA, you were MBA law, but now just MBA program, right?
Yes, now I am just doing my MBA here.
Okay, and then we also have Shasha Kiattaweesup. Shasha, how did I do on the last name?
Not bad.
Not bad, okay. Shasha is also an MBA program here, and we're here today to talk to you guys about being second years on campus and what we expect. I'll say one thing right off the bat, Kia, and I'm sure you guys probably are all smarter than me and got a better experience, but I can't remember one thing that I learned from my first year. That's not a knock against Pepperdine, because I think it was my fault for being at home and going to sleep when I was not supposed to go to sleep and not studying like I'm supposed to. I wonder about Kia.
I don't know if it's your fault, Ty, because I don't know about you guys. If I'm on Zoom, I'm not only on Zoom. I have 3 monitors, and Zoom's on one of them, Chrome's on another,
Definitely.
Amazon's on another. So it's way too easy to get distracted at home. And a lot of our friends feel the same. They're like, oh yeah, when I'm in class in person, I kind of have to focus or else I look like an idiot. And that's kind of a good incentive to pay attention.
Yeah, it worked for me too.
Even studying for tests is different. That's what I realized. Today was my first quiz, and I can't remember the last time I put this much effort and used note cards, and I didn't know what to expect, and I knew that I didn't have like a comfort of my 3 monitors with me. So I definitely had to actually put in the effort, and it felt very foreign.
Right. Well, I'm excited about it. What about you, Shasha?
Well, honestly, I do remember some things, but most of the time I feel like learning is a lot about practice. So like when you start practicing using whatever you learn, then you start remembering how to do it. But, with the Zoom and everything, you don't really get to practice that much.
Yeah.
Like there's like less interaction between people. And I feel like that's probably what's missing with online school.
What I find interesting in talking to you guys, I'm the only one in here who did a summer internship, right? For whatever specific reason. My concentration, well, actually, I was general management until my summer internship. And now I'm leadership and managing organizational change, I think is the name of the concentration. So I actually have a real conversation, and I'm coming into this second year actually focused on trying to learn specifically about that concentration, because it's something I've always been interested in. Kia, you know, that's what I always talk about is leadership on this podcast. Francis, specifically, your concentration is finance. You came in doing law and MBA, and now you're just focused squarely on the MBA. So you took summer classes this summer. You did too also, Kia. Tell me a little bit about summer classes over the summer. Summer sometimes is when you want to be doing summer things, but we're in school now.
100%. It was really unmotivating to see our cohort on Instagram living their best lives while I was loaded with 21 units so that I can finish my accelerated MBA program.
Wow.
And the one thing that I would say is the experience is different, not just because of the Zoom, but because most people in the summer are the fully employed MBA students. And so it's a completely different group of people that, not that you're meeting them in person, but it's still a different group. And so there's that. They all know each other because they've been doing this. And so you're like the odd person out this time. And everything's at night because it's for them. And so the majority of my classes were 6 to 10 p.m. And those are not easy for me at all.
All right. Yeah, interesting. Kia, now you started the program in January, so summer was actually a part of your program, your whole cohort, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about summer classes when that most people, whether they might be in school or not in school, are out living their best lives during the summer.
Look, here's the thing. It's one thing to have classes during summer. It's another thing to not have the proper selection of classes during the summer. Okay. So I took, there was a 6 to 10 p.m. class. It fit my concentration, but, did I enjoy it? No. Did I drop it? Absolutely. So, the selection was not there. It was a bunch of, prerequisite courses that we all had to do. And yeah, it was nice to have the whole cohort there. But ultimately, I felt like the electives are coming in a little late. I felt like, okay, I'm going to school and I know what I want to do. And yet there's a bunch of like filler for the first half of it. So I definitely want to get to the stuff that I want to do quickly now.
Right. Yeah, interesting. Shasha, your summer now, you didn't do an internship, right?
I did a part-time one actually.
Okay.
It's a UX design internship, unpaid, but I got to learn a little bit about what it's like working in a startup, and like help them set up like more of a solid UX design process. They just started their web team, so everyone was pretty new to what was going on. So it was nice to be able to have a lot of input into what they're doing.
That was probably a good experience, right? If it's a startup, they're all learning the business aspect as well as everybody's coming to whatever their own skill set, right?
Yeah. So like in a way, I didn't get to learn from like the professionals per se, but I get to learn by just trying, just doing it and like seeing how it goes. So that was the nice part of it.
And that's where you want to go with this whole MBA and education thing, that user experience type situation.
Yeah. Like, starting from, user experience research or design, and then hopefully eventually product management and working with other talented designers out there.
So I'm guessing you did that remotely, right?
Yeah.
So obviously in the future, hopefully we won't have to be remote for everything. Do you think you would lean more towards like that remote work? Do you like the flexibility that gives you, or would you rather be a part of an in-person team?
I've been working remotely for a couple years now. Like before the MBA program, I was a freelance designer doing graphic works and like, kind of other visual design work, some web stuff. So I'm kind of ready to kind of like go into more of like a full-time position with a team, learning from other people. As much as I like being in control of what I do and my work and I kind of want to go away from that business aspect a little bit and learn to build my skills more, and then eventually go off and into my own thing again.
And is that in person or remote?
Do you mean like
are your aspirations, when you're, when you've got that skill set that you want?
Is user experience in general? I mean, would that just be remote? Like you don't have to be on site, or do you need to be on, like in the industry? Does everybody have to be in the same office?
I would say like it would be better to be on site, like say, because during research we do interviews with people and watch people use whatever apps that are there, like usability testing. So it's good to like be able to observe people's expressions, their behaviors. Where are they frustrated, or where are they like squinting their eyes while they're using the application? So, and that's a big part of it, like observing people's reactions to your product. So like, the research part can be done wherever you want, right? But like secondary research and all that. But when it comes to primary research and like
the
actually talking to people,
yeah.
So that's the part that I think would be nice to do in person.
Yeah, super interesting. So the business classes you just got to get these out the way so you can get into what you really want to do. It seems like what is?
I think they go hand in hand actually, because in entrepreneurship, you do a lot of problem solving, right? Finding is there the product market fit and all that, and that's part of developing a good user experience for an app. Like if we have a feature that people don't need or people don't use, what's the point of developing it?
Yeah, that's true.
And or finding out what are we missing here? What do people need? And will it work?
Excellent. So my internship was one of my college roommates and college teammates started a traumatic brain injury center, rehabilitation center in Michigan. And he wanted me to come on and help him with marketing and business development. And so I started down that path when I got there. It was in Michigan. And then I realized that they had not developed some of the organizational culture, right? The understanding the behavior and how the family atmosphere of the corporation, and ended up seeing that before you can do any marketing, you need to understand who you are and how we operate and what do we do here as a culture. So I did some of that work when I was there, and that led me to realize that that's actually where I want to be. in terms of that. So that's why I changed my concentration. So in terms of the hands-on experience, I think it was good for me to have the perspective of being inside an organization and seeing that needed to be done. But the summer ran out, right? I ran out of time, so I didn't necessarily get to actually implement some of the things I would have liked to implement because A, I didn't want to stay in Michigan, and B, it was time to come back to California and get in school and do these things. But it's one of my best friends, so I can call him up and then keep the conversation going if I want to. Now, Francis, you, like me, we both have, this is not our first graduate degree, right? Actually, this is my fourth degree. And at some point, I'll figure out how to make them work for me, right? I have a master's of science in education with the emphasis on sport management. I got darn near almost 20 years ago. I know you have a master's. Is it math or what exactly is yours?
Yeah, I have a master's in math education. And so I really wanted to be a math professor and do research. So that was the track I was going for a greater part of my 20s.
Right.
And then one day I woke up and I was like, which was actually my childhood dream, was to go to law school. And a few conversations with some people, I finally decided I'm at the good place and the right age where I can still pivot, and I'm ready to do that. And so here it was. And as I decided what I wanted to do with law, business was always a part of that. And an MBA and a law degree can be very helpful to each other. And so because of COVID, I decided to do the MBA first because online business school and online law school, I figured online business school was the lesser of two evils. So here we are. But hopefully next year we'll be in law school and then we'll be on that way.
Yeah, that the usage of the brains, right, in terms of math and business and law, logic and analytical is you just like fine tuning that side of your brain, right?
That's what I mean, I try to tell kids this all the time when they're like, why am I learning this? I'm like, honestly, I understand that you may never use calculus ever again in your life, but even with the English language, it helps you like understand logic and reasoning and break down arguments in a way that you wouldn't be able to understand or understand as easily without understanding some of the things that you learn from math reasoning. So it has become a pretty useful degree now, even though it wasn't going to be a useful degree as a career outside of teaching for me.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah, really interesting.
So did you experience any online law classes or you just strictly went into the MBA program?
No, the only online law class I've had was with Gia here, and I did an elective with her in the spring. And that's the closest I've had to like a law class. And then now because I decided to split up the MBA and the JD, I'm doing the business law with her again this fall.
Great.
And then still do law after the MBA, or are you still considering law, or what do you think after this MBA process?
I front loaded my summer so that I can ease up this fall and only have 4 classes, so that I can restudy for the LSAT and maybe get into like a scholarship range. And I'm reapplying for fall 2022 into law school.
Excellent. Kia, what I know about you, Kia, is that you want to excel at what do you say, voice overing or being a voice over person. They tell me how to
voice acting, voiceover work.
There you go, that kind of thing, right? Start your own business and let's see where it goes from there. Talk to us a little bit about how you feel the MBA process is going to help you with that. And of course, your concentration is entrepreneurship and marketing. So I see where they tie in, but give us your insight on it.
Yeah. So the logic going in was, okay, voice actors are representing themselves. It's not like agency gate kept anymore. It's very entrepreneurial. You're doing your own marketing, your own branding. So why not learn how to do that? And that's why I'm taking like digital marketing this class, this semester. And obviously, marketing is going to be probably the most important skill I learned from the MBA that, relates to voiceover work. But entrepreneurship has surprisingly been very potent. So the way that I've had, a class with Professor Cox, and I have one this trimester as well, the way that he pushes you to think creatively and outside the box, that's actually helped me in some of my reads. So, just that way of like he's like, oh yeah, think about the problem. Well, you can kind of apply some of that logic to a script interpretation. So it's obviously entrepreneurial skills, which I need in order to run my own business, but also surprisingly, it's helped me in my directly in my work. So I've appreciated that aspect of it. And of course, as I alluded to earlier, I don't know how relevant accounting and finance will be. Maybe I will do my own financing and I won't use FreshBooks or something. But yeah, so you win some, you lose some, and I think it's good overall, though.
Yeah, that's excellent. Will we hear you on a Pixar movie in the next 4 or 5 years? I guess that would be the goal, huh? Is voicing a
4 or
character?
5 years, probably not.
No, not that quick.
I would say 15.
15? Oh,
yeah.
okay. You gotta work your way
Pixar's
towards
the pinnacle.
Is it really?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
But definitely that's the goal.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. So I want to ask you guys specifically about coming into year 2 as an MBA, right? We all had an interesting first year, virtual. I said I didn't learn anything. I'm sure you guys learned a lot. But coming into year 2, we're on campus, which is exciting to me. I'm a people person, and I think I've been in class with every one of you guys know I like to talk, so I can talk a lot in person and raise my hand and ask a bunch of questions. Tell me what you guys are looking forward to as we embark on year 2 as an MBA. Shasha, start us off.
Ooh. I think mainly just being able to just go up to the professor and just, catch them after class. Like, hey, I have some questions about certain things, or hey, I'm working on this project. What do you think about it? Even if it's not related to class, at least for me with my user experience projects, getting ideas from people who have no idea what user experience is about, or people who are kind of not that familiar with the process, to get that fresh perspective from a user. Yeah. And just learning from others.
Right.
Really making friends.
Excellent. What about you, Francis?
Today we were working on spreadsheets, and I didn't have the same answer as a professor. And I think when we were on Zoom, I would have just let it be. And I was able to compare with Shasha right next to me, and that was something we haven't been able to do all year. And even something that small was so amazing that I definitely took for granted in the past. So just being able to work with each other, which is kind of the point of the business program, we haven't really been able to do on this kind of scale. I'm really excited for it. And honestly, I realized too that the online program made me realize that I'm actually more introverted than I thought. And I wasn't as willing to network from home. So while everyone was working really hard on their online profiles on LinkedIn and doing all the online, the career fairs online, I couldn't even get myself to attend. I just felt uncomfortable. But I have no problem walking up to a person and be like, hi, my name is Francis, and nice to meet you. So I realized that I need that a little bit of a push. So I'm really need to get the networking that I feel a little behind on, because I wasn't willing to do it as much from home.
I mean, I can relate to that. I feed off of others' energy, and that's much more so in person than over Zoom. And I would push myself to, join this club, network here, do that. But it wasn't the same as, let's say, going in person and meeting people. The energy is totally different. So I have really enjoyed that about coming back in person, dressing nicely. I am not, well, maybe, but, just wear a shirt because that's all they're seeing. And your camera's blurry anyway, so you have to really try, that kind of thing.
Agreed.
And other than that, one thing I did not expect about in person, or I guess I forgot, is the back and forth. I think I got spoiled by
commuting.
Yeah.
I know.
Just hopping on and boom, you're there. Versus, you gotta drive, you gotta walk, you gotta park, you gotta, account for food. I can't eat in class. I hate it. I snack so I do intermittent fasting between 12 p.m. and 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to eat between that time frame. And it's so rough when, let's say, a professor delays a break or doesn't have as many. So, it is what it is.
One thing I realized is sometimes I'll like mute myself and turn my camera off, but I can still hear and I can go run and do something like grab a snack or run to the restroom really quickly. And now I'm like losing a whole 10 minutes of class because I needed to go find where the restroom was. So things like that, I completely forgot too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I'm not a morning person, so trying to get to class on time. But I'm getting better.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I saw her this morning. I saw Shasha this morning. She's like, man, getting to class at 8 has been a struggle for the last couple of weeks. I wonder about that. When will the professor decide that it's a problem? But I guess you've gotten here. You've made it just right on time or something like that. So
Yeah. Well, the professor hadn't said anything, but I know like another professor, which her class hasn't started yet. I know she's gonna be a little more
she's a
strict about
stickler.
it.
Oh yeah,
So
I have that coming up too at 8 a.m. on Wednesdays.
Oh, is that Gia?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll be in there too. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is practice,
Yeah.
I got 2 strikes now, so for myself, but I'm proud of where I've come, how far I've come.
Yeah, excellent.
It
So
used to be.
I'll ask a couple questions here and then we'll wrap. Let's assume there are either potential MBA students or first year students listening to this conversation. What kind of advice would you give to them now that we are second years on campus? And if they're first years, they're on campus for the first time too. But is there any advice you would give to either a first year or somebody that's coming into an MBA program? You want to start us off, Francis?
Hindsight is 2020, and this is one of my regrets. So I would hope that maybe someone doesn't have to have this regret, and it would be to maximize all the opportunities afforded to us by Pepperdine on campus now or off campus. So like get on Handshake and see all those things. If you really put in the effort, I've heard of some amazing internships that some of our cohort have earned this past summer that I think they really did take the time to look at all the handshakes and go and do all the networking. And if you can spend that time and do that outside of the classes and remember that your grades aren't the end all be all, I think you'll get the most out of your MBA.
I want to spin off that actually. So I've used the fact that I'm in an MBA program as an in to get like quick interviews with like top tier voice actors. So you'd be surprised what just being in an MBA program, what doors that can open for you. So I don't think otherwise, well, you never know, but otherwise would I have actually sent the email? Would I have actually gotten on Skype or Zoom or whatever and talked to them? So yeah, to add to that, it's like understand that other people value the program you're in as well. So use that to your advantage too.
Yeah, excellent.
Yep, use that Pepperdine email because sending things from that .pepperdine@edu,
Credibility.
people pay attention.
Boom.
They do. What about you, Sasha? Anything for us?
I think like you guys have mentioned like my number one kind of thing that I wanted to say, but I guess the second thing is to just whatever you want to do, just do it. Like don't hesitate. Like don't waste time like overthinking about things. Like you want to go try out this internship. You don't like even if you don't know what career path you want to do, just do it. Apply for it. You never know what you're gonna get.
Right. I'll say this. My thing is, and I just had a conversation with Will Mosley on here on the Pepperdynamics podcast, and one thing he said is, and I agree with, is that if you're here, be here. Show up on campus. I mean, if you only have time to be here 5 minutes before class and leave immediately, then fine. But if you have time, get here a little early, spend some time on campus, focus on whatever you need to do. Like be a student since you are, especially if you're in a full-time program, be a student and do what you need to do to get things done. Last question for you guys here. We'll start with Shasha, go to Francis. Kia, you'll wrap us up. Is the one major thing you want to take away from your MBA experience? I'll start and then we'll pass it to you, Sasha. Actually, for me, it's the network. The network tied to education, the network tied to experience, the network tied to my cohort and colleagues so that I can expand the current network I have beyond what my current network is in college athletics. I want my network to be in business, to be in a bunch of different areas. So that's what I want to go away with. Sasha, what do you have for us?
Oh, I would say I could build off that and say relationships, like your friendships, like just, be yourself and like you attract the people that want to be around you and eventually building that relationships until years from now. you still be in contact with me, hopefully.
Right. Excellent. Francis?
I hate to be repetitive, but I agree. For me, it's that I want all of you to be my future clients, and so I want to make sure I keep those relationships strong. And so when the time comes, I am your attorney, and that's what I want to get out of the MBA for sure.
Excellent. Kia June, take us home.
You all stole my answer. So definitely that. Equal parts friendship, equal parts, professional network. And that's really the biggest thing I'm looking for.
Which is excellent. I agree with everybody. We'll be your client, yes, as long as you don't charge what you charge everybody else that wasn't a part of your original network. Whatever I'm gonna need some user design for, I'm coming to you, and we'll keep working together on whatever it is we're working together in terms of voice and all those
I'll help
types
you
of
build
things.
that app.
There you go. All right. Well, this has been an excellent conversation. I really appreciate everybody joining us here on the Pepperdynamics podcast.
I've been Kia June.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
No problem. That was Francis Rodriguez, second-year MBA with a concentration in finance. Shasha Kiattaweesup, which I sounded out, second-year MBA with a concentration in entrepreneurship and doing a user experience bootcamp. And of course, for Kia June, our co-host here, I am Ty Brown with the Pepperdynamics podcast. And keep in mind, the role of a leader is to create and maintain an environment that people want to be a part of. And as always, be better tomorrow than you are today.